Gemini, this is your reading for September 2017, and welcome to September. And thank you very much for all of your comments, for all of your just sharing what you feel about the messages and how they resonate with you. I love connecting with you, love knowing that you're enjoying the messages as well, and it's just great to communicate and to connect with you. So thank you for that so much. If you want to book a reading, the link is below the video. So this month is going to be all about, for you, your home. Virgo's your fourth house, rules your fourth house, so especially if you've got a Gemini ascendant, you're going to be thinking very much about your home and your emotional security, and there is going to be a lot going on in Virgo this month. So there's going to be a lot going on in that area for you. Your emotional security and the way that you, just the way that you feel, whether you feel safe, whether you open up emotionally, whether you feel that there are things that you need to heal emotionally. It can also be to do with the past wounds, looking at things that you learned, haven't looked at the time yet, things that you learned growing up, things that you learned from your parents, ideologies, you know, of a culture, anything at all that has gone in deeply into you, into your psyche, into your emotional nature, that have created your emotional nature and your emotional ways of responding that may or may not feel as if they really are you, or as if they really are useful to you at this point in your evolution. So you're going to be looking at all of that. You're going to be possibly looking at changes in your home. You might even be thinking about whether you're happy living where you are at the moment, but there's going to be a lot of good luck and good possibilities and potential around it. So there's a lot there to think about. What you're going to be letting go of is around the time of the full moon, 10th house activity, so things to do with your career, reputation, the legacy that you want to leave. You might actually be really sharpening your ideas about that. There might be some aspects of your career that you let go of in order to really focus on what you want to do, what makes you emotionally happy. So all the light is going into that fourth house, and it's bringing our attention there. And then there are things that are wanting to die off in the 10th house. So it could be that you let go of something in your career, and that makes you feel much more emotionally secure. So it wasn't making you feel secure, or it was interrupting your sense of security and peace. Or it could be that you let go of being out on the world stage, the 10th house, and being very visible, and you choose to work at home, something like that. Or you let go of working so hard and being so ambitious, and you choose to focus on your emotional life and what you're feeling. Or you start to ask yourself, is my career supporting me in developing an emotional life at home that makes me feel happy and steady and secure, or is it getting in the way of that? So let's just shuffle some cards and see how the universe supports all of that. That was interesting. You've got sacrifice just popped out there, and it did feel relevant. So it could be that you're making a lot of sacrifices. It could be that you're starting to feel that you're making or have made a lot of sacrifices emotionally because of your work. It could be that you feel that your work's taken you away from building the kind of bonds or the kind of home life that you really want. So let's just see. Let's just dig a bit deeper. Could be the other way around. It could be that you've felt for a long time that, you know, your emotional life prevents you from achieving your ambitions, and it could be that you're in the middle of a huge revelation about what your priorities actually are and which one of those truths is the truer truth. So you can figure all of that out later. I'm not going to repeat that. Okay, so that just came through. Let's just see, what does Gemini need to know to facilitate this wonderful transformation and finding their place in the world and in the world of emotions. There we go. So we've got past, present, future, advice and possible probable outcome. Okay, so past, recent past, what you've just come through. You've just come through a period of personal empowerment where you've started to feel stronger about yourself, about your direction, about how much control and power you can take over your life, your personal reality, maybe even your personal space. So it's possible that there have been some changes in your home life, in your emotional life, in your personal space, that have made you feel more empowered, more in control of the situation, more in control of, where you're going, the direction that you're going in, not feeling pulled in too many directions, having the ability to just connect with yourself and your gut feeling and your current reality and where you are, who you are in the space. So that's what the influence that you're currently moving out of. And where you are now is, so if you've just let go of someone from your home, Memories of Love is a card of nostalgia, of longing, of looking back on the past. Maybe you're missing that person now and wondering, what happened? Where did they go? Why is this happening? What's going on? How did this happen? So this is a time for you to really kind of connect with your heart. It all very much lines up with what you're experiencing, what the cosmos is bringing, and what you're experiencing astrologically. So it's time for you to just really do some soul searching, Gemini, and go inside yourself and ask yourself, how you feel about things that have happened, whether you're really, really happy about how the situation developed, whether you can actually see a future with somebody from the past maybe, or whether you can actually go back to something in your past career that felt happier, that felt brighter, that felt much more you. It can work on both levels. It can be to do with your emotions, or it can be to do with your career. But it's just a sense of longing, a sense of missing something, a sense of having a bit of a rethink, and your Mercury retrograde might be quite a lot to do with that, to do with having a reconsideration there. Okay. But it looks very sweet, it looks very innocent, so it could be that you're wanting to go back to, if you are involved, if you are connected, it could be that you're just wanting to go back to the beginning of a connection, back to the, when everything's really lovely and new and exciting and, respectful and all of that stuff. And it could be that, you're just wanting to go back to it at a time. But Gemini, this could be an overall learning for you. What I'm feeling is that because we're all going through a huge learning and a huge reinvention at the moment, this could be for you. I was kind of hearing something to do with looking at old patterns in that sense, in that respect. It could be that there's a maturing that needs to happen here, in that maybe you've had a pattern of always wanting to go back to that stage in a relationship, in a connection, in a career, whatever, and you're learning at the moment how to weather the storms, how to see a longer view, and how to work on things, how to make things, how to see things as they really are in the moment, decide whether they actually have more value, than you realise, and whether they're worth working on, even if they're not always at this stage. So that's just something to ponder. And what you're moving into is harmony. How lovely. Right, so it could be, just looking at these cards in sequence, it's possible that you are going back to something from the past and seeing it with new eyes and working on it, reinventing it in a way that does bring harmony. And because we're looking at the home, it's possible that you are either allowing that harmony back into your home or planning for that harmony to come back into your home in the future. And it might not be that you leap in straight away, it might be that you just begin to explore and investigate the potential at this stage in September. But it looks lovely, and that could be harmony in work, it could be harmony in other areas, it could literally be harmony, if some of you are involved in, working with music or whatever. But harmony, that can have many, many meanings. Okay, so let's look at the advice cards. What does the universe say? Destiny. Your destiny is calling you. Your true destiny is calling you. And I love that we're looking at the 10th house, and this card is number 10. I think it's the Wheel of Fortune in the traditional tarot. So your destiny is calling you, your true destiny. And your true destiny involves refining or redefining your vision of how you stand on the world stage, so to speak, what your legacy is, what your real career is going to be. And again, there's that sense of letting go of some things in order to make way for other things that really do represent who you are. there's going to be some big questions about that, especially around the full moon, when you start letting go of things that aren't in line with your higher vision. Or you might need to reinvent things. If you've got no choice about certain things at the moment, or it feels that way, you're going to be thinking, well, how can I make them more in line? How can I reinvent those aspects of my work or my career to make them fall in line more with what I really feel is my destiny? And that could be something to do with, you know, working from home rather than being out, you know, blah, 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 all those things we talked about at the beginning. But it's time to follow your destiny. Your destiny might also involve a person, or it might feel that way. So just keep open to all of that. And the other advice, love begins. Okay, so either, Gemini, you are going back to a past connection and finding harmony within that and peace within yourself over a new attitude towards connections of that nature, or you are going to be going towards a completely different connection, or you are going to find that it is like going back to the beginning again when you revisit this connection. It's all up to you. You know, you've got all these things up in the air, all of these ideas up in the air, but just know that whatever happens, you won't be alone. There will be love there for you, you know, if you choose it in that respect. You know, you might just want to work on self-love for a while. You might just want to re-establish the love for your work for the time being. But whatever happens, there's an awful lot of potential for a lot of love around you and a lot of fulfillment. And, you know, what you really have to focus on here is the fulfillment of your destiny and how all of these things are going to support you. So making sure that you have a compatible connection with all of that, with everything that you're trying to achieve and who you are trying to be and become. And your outcome, if you go along with all of those energies and focus on, you know, your destiny and being the real you and seeing things with new eyes, is light. An awakening. Some kind of an awakening. Some kind of an epiphany. You know, it's not necessarily a spiritual awakening. I don't know what your beliefs or ideologies are, but something where you see light dawning. You see the light on a certain situation or a set of circumstances or a previous way of seeing things that has kind of been your undoing, if you like. Okay, so yeah, just something that's been a pattern in your life. You suddenly become very aware of it and it sheds light on a brand new future, a whole set of other possibilities and ways of working, seeing things, relating to people and being you. So fantastic, lovely reading, love that one. So have a great month, Gemini, and as I said, if you'd like to book a reading with me, the link is below the video. Have a fantastic September and I'll see you in October. Bye.